Welcome back to Murder with the Missus. I'm Darren.
And I'm Amy. And today we're going to tell you about Mekayla Bali.
Don't forget to smash that like button. Check out the description for the links of all of our podcast platforms, Cash App, and Buy Me a Coffee. Like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to tell your friends. Don't forget to tell your friends.
Tell them all.
They deserve it.
Don't be rude. All right. Disappearances happen for a lot of different reasons. Sometimes people disappear because someone made them disappear. Sometimes it's just an accident that happened. But also sometimes people choose to leave. Maybe then something happens to them. Either way, last known movements of someone who vanishes can be just as confounding. So as you hear this case and the timeline, see what you think happened. We're talking about 16-year-old Mekayla from our neighbors to the north. Mekayla had used the last name Niebergall, I think is how you pronounce that, until around 7 months prior to her disappearance, when she and other members of her family changed to Bali, allegedly for family reasons. So if you see both names reported, just keep that in mind. Mekayla was born July 2nd of 1999 in Regina, Saskatchewan. Her father was not known, and we will touch on that subject a little later. So Mekayla was raised by a single mother, Paula. Paula works as a consultant for the Ministry of Social Services of the government of Saskatchewan. While she was a single mother in the sense that she didn't have help from Mekayla's dad, she was definitely not alone. Mekayla lived with her mom, aunt, maternal grandmother, and she has 2 younger siblings, so they all live together in Yorkton.
That's a house full.
Yeah, that's a lot of people. A long line of women all under one roof. As a teenager, Mekayla was very caring. She was described as being conscious of other people's needs and was a good listener. She didn't do drugs or smoke, even though she hung out with some smokers in the smoke pit at school. It was described as a door where I guess they would kind of hide and take smoke breaks. We had something like that at our school. There was also the side of the gym that we called the smoke spot. And one day one of our smokers wrote smoke spot, but spelled it smock spot. So even to this day, I'm like, oh, is that the smock spot?
Yeah.
I still wonder where he ended up in life. Anyway, Mekayla also played violin and was in the drama club, even though she was quiet and shy. She liked the Hunger Games franchise and played fantasy video games like League of Legends. She may have also been so in tune with other people's feelings, not just because of her home life, but also because she had been the victim of bullying because of her acne. She had started taking medication to help with that, and her mom says that the bullying stopped. Paula says that she was hitting her stride. It was also reported that she had shown some of those smoker buddies some pills one time saying they were oxycodone, but they were just her acne medication. So,
She was trying to look cool or what?
I guess. I don't know what she was doing. There was no context to that at all. She might have been trying to look cool, which she was considered kind of a goody two-shoes, so maybe this was her way of being like, I got a hard side. I haven't seen anything saying what was happening when she did that. And kids do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Maybe street cred. This brings us to April 12th of 2016. Her grandma dropped her off at school that morning and came back to pick her up after school because she had a violin rehearsal at 4 o'clock. But grandma waits and waits. Mekayla never comes out. She finds out that Mekayla wasn't in any of her classes that day. Grandma calls Paula, and the 2 of them search for her for hours, doing the usual thing, checking hangouts, talking to friends, all the things. But that evening, they called the Yorkton RCMP to report her missing. Now, the RCMP is the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. Keep in mind that this is 2016, so that means that they do have the ability to do more of what we would see as a modern investigation. Surveillance footage, phone data, all the wonderful things that can help, or sometimes not help. In the cases that we cover, anyways. So let's go through the timeline.
I'd rather have one. Rather than not have one.
That is true. So whether it causes confusion or not, at least you can see it. Leading up to her disappearance, her friends say that she was talking about going to several places really soon. She said she had $5,000 in her bank account. On the evening of the 11th, she messaged several friends saying she was unhappy and needed help. And the teacher told police that she had seemed upset in class that day. Now on the 12th, Mekayla texted one of her friends asking for a ride to TD Bank, saying that it was important. Now, it is reported that she messaged that friend on the 11th as well, so the night before, asking for a ride to the bank the next morning, and then texted again that morning about the ride. But the friend was like, it's 6:41 in the morning, so the bank's not even open yet. So Mekayla then called TD Bank customer service 3 times, and she ended up making a transfer of $25. Now, it doesn't say where she transferred it to. It doesn't say why it was only $25. Like, they just said she made a transfer of $25. Paula says that morning was just a typical morning at the house. Nothing stood out in any way. Grandma drove her to school, getting there between 8:10 and 8:20, with Mekayla's phone connecting to the school Wi-Fi around 8:08. So we know that she got there. Mekayla is seen on the school CCTV footage at 8:21, putting a binder in her locker. You then see her walk out the back entrance of the school 4 minutes later at 8:25. At 8:30, the Super C convenience store catches her walking eastbound on some railroad tracks around the intersection of Smith Street West and Gladstone Avenue North.
So they're following her through town on the cameras.
They are.
Nice.
Between the footage and the witnesses, they have a pretty good timeline nailed down. We're up to between 8:50 and 8:55, where she is seen on CCTV footage outside of TD Bank waiting for it to open, and she's talking on the phone. An employee gets to the bank and opens the door at 8:55. Mekayla ends her call and goes in to a teller where she withdraws $55.
55 or 5,000?
Definitely 55. She didn't have 5,000. I'll just warn that. I'll ruin it for you now. She leaves the bank, and surveillance footage shows her walking east on Broadway Street. At around 9 o'clock, she is in Terry's Pawn and Bargain trying to pawn a silver ring. The worker doesn't buy it or let her pawn it because the ring has a low value, he said. But the worker said that she wasn't upset about the fact that they didn't want it, and she just left. At about 9:10 or so, she is on camera in a Tim Horton/Wendy's. She buys a drink and sits in a booth with her backpack with her. She looked around several times. Some say that she's looking at the door. And at some point, she appears to be talking or like taking her phone apart. And then she puts it back together. At about 9:20, she gets up and walks out of the restaurant, but immediately walks back in, straight through the restaurant and out of a different exit. Yeah. She is then clocked on several cameras in the area around the restaurant, moving in a large counterclockwise circle. At 9:49, she is back on camera footage inside the same Tim Horton/Wendy's, where she sits in a different booth this time. She is talking on her cell phone. At 10:12, she texted a friend named Shelby saying, "Hey, I need your help." She browses her phone and then texts Shelby back saying, "Never mind, I figured it out." At 10:25, she left the restaurant, but 1 minute later, she comes back inside and sits in the same booth she had just been in. At 10:39, she is on a phone call again. She gets off the phone at 10:43 and gets up and walks over to an adjacent table where there's an older woman sitting alone, and Mekayla just sits down in the chair across from her.
Did they ever find that woman?
They did. They found that woman, and she said that Mekayla had asked her to get her a hotel room. The woman told her, "No, I will not be doing that." So Mekayla just gets up and goes back to her booth. She sets her backpack down, but she stayed standing. She makes another phone call and then picks up her backpack and leaves the restaurant. At 10:45-ish, she is on camera walking west on Broadway Street East. She took a turn down 7th Avenue, but came right back to Broadway, where she went westward until she walked out of camera's view. It wasn't too long after that an employee at the STC bus depot says Mekayla was there asking when the next bus to Regina would leave. That wasn't going to be until 5 p.m., so Mekayla left without buying a ticket. The police guesstimate that this was between 11 and 11:45 because there's no cameras there, so they can't tell. Also in this time frame at 11:35, they can tell by her cell phone records that she texted another friend saying, "I'll see you at lunch." And then at 11:59, she enters the school and went to the cafeteria. At least that's what it looks like to me. It's like a big open room with tables and chairs that looks like a mall food court. She talked to 2 people who later told police that she told them she was taking a bus to Regina for vacation. She is seen on camera footage leaving the school at 12:03, so she wasn't there for no time. She then goes to the Trail Stop restaurant, which is connected to that bus depot. She got lunch and then left sometime between 1 and 1:45. And this is the last time she is seen, and she wasn't caught on any more CCTV footage.
So what about her cell phone data?
There's a bit of an issue with the cell phone data that we're going to talk about in a little bit, but it didn't give them any more information except that it was turned off at 6:41 the next morning. And keep in mind that it took a long time for them to get and go through all that surveillance footage and cell phone records. But in the time after she disappeared, they talked to people and did searches. The public started helping with the searches 2 days in on April 14th. After 3 weeks, the case was handed over to the GIS, or General Investigation Section. On July 21st, the RCMP issued a child alert for Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba. Also in July, NCMEC joined in. That's the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Fast forward, and by the 1-year anniversary of her disappearance, it went to the RCMP Historical Case Unit. And then in December, the circular went all the way across Canada. So it took them about a year for them to get it nationwide. So what do we know? Police verified that she didn't get on any buses that day, and she didn't have her passport with her. None of her social media accounts have been used since that day, except for one incident. One of her friends had sent a Snapchat that hadn't been opened when Mekayla disappeared, until 3 months later. All of a sudden, the status of that message started showing as opened. But police couldn't tell if this was a glitch of some kind or if someone had actually read that text message.
Could that be a glitch?
Now, some online forums about this case say that people have said that this has happened to them, that they had messages that randomly look like they were opened when they know that they didn't open them. And I don't personally use Snapchat, so I can't confirm nor deny. But sticking with the social media angle, the police say that it took a very long time to get the records from all of them because they have privacy policies too.
Yeah.
But they really needed those records because it's believed that she mostly communicated through social media. They found out that she had 2 Instagram accounts. In the one that no one knew about, the About Me section just says goodbye. I think we will take a moment here to listen from today's sponsor before we go on.
If you're in a heated argument with your dryer, don't worry. You'll both cool down eventually. Or maybe you just need a washer and dryer. Don't get agitated. Take a load off.
Get your laundry set from My Laundry Solutions and let them iron out your problems. If you live in an apartment, get your set from them. They service them, and they have locations in Texas, Oklahoma, and Missouri. The most recent area is Lubbock, Texas, around the Tech Terrace area, with more locations coming soon.
So give them a call today, 800-535-4411.
Or go online to mylaundrysolutions.com.
And let them wash your troubles away. All right.
Let them do it. Now, 2 months before her disappearance, her account posted, quote, "Looking for Snapchat friends because I have none in real life. Add me. Please don't be a greasy fuck and send me gross ass nudes. Just looking for a friend." End quote. And someone named Christopher was allegedly supposed to be coming to meet her. So the police tracked him down and even searched his house, but they didn't find anything of Mekayla's. Same thing with a man named Josh. They investigated him too. She did date a boy earlier in the year and they broke up, but they did reportedly stay friends and he was cleared as well. All of these men were looked into and all of these men were cleared. Also in February, she reportedly got roses delivered to her at school. The police supposedly tracked down the sender of those flowers, but they never released any information on that.
So who's she talking to on the phone? At the ATM at Hortons.
Oh, at Tim Hortons.
At the Tim Hortons, yeah.
Right. So that would be the problem that I mentioned earlier about the cell phones. She was seen talking on the phone in the bank footage and at Tim Hortons, but her phone records don't show any phone calls. So this has led to speculation of several options: that she was pretending to be on the phone, or that she had a second phone, or maybe a second SIM card. Because remember that she was seen on that Tim Horton footage, possibly taking her phone apart
yep,
and putting it back together. It would look like that if you're replacing a SIM card in an older phone. Now keep in mind that she was also big into apps to communicate. So maybe she was actually calling through an app. They also have those too, but I figure you could tell that. They tracked down as many of her online friends as they could and interviewed them, but nothing came from any of it. There were tips that came in too, sightings. One sighting immediately gave them a person of interest. At that bus station that she was going in and out of that day, she had been seen talking with a man. He had a stocky build, muscular arms, dark hair, and a big tattoo of a fiery cross on his forearm. So they put out a sketch of the tattoo, and that man came forward. But his interaction with Mekayla was not what it appeared to be to the person who called in the sighting. So they're like, hey, she was like heavily talking to this guy. I think they left together. Come to find out, it was a very brief interaction and harmless because he literally just held the door open for her when she was leaving.
And there's no cameras to verify.
No, there's no mention of cameras being at this station or the restaurant attached to it. Everywhere else had cameras except the pawn shop. So they had footage of her just about everywhere she went that day except those two places. She spent quite a bit of time at the bus depot and the restaurant attached, but like without cameras, all you have are people reports, and those can be very faulty. There was another tip in October of 2016, and that was when she was seen in Vancouver. Paula went there to Vancouver and set up a poster campaign, but it led nowhere. In January 2017, the police got a report that she was at an event at the Great Eagle Entertainment Center, but that was another one that they couldn't prove if it was her or not. Just like a sighting in Edmonton in 2019. They were able to prove also that she was not a person that was panhandling in 2020, which was another tip they got. So there's been a lot of sightings in a lot of places that have gone nowhere. As you can probably guess, there's been a lot of theories on this case as well. The most common theory is that she ran away. Friends and the police have long time believed that she chose to leave. One of her friends said, "I know it was her decision, but still I'm kind of kicking myself over it." Her friends also said that she was carrying a backpack that day, and usually she didn't carry a backpack, she just carried a purse. So the fact that she had a backpack led to the belief that she had packed in anticipation of leaving. So she had told friends too, and made social media posts that she was unhappy, and even that she wanted to leave, right? Saying that she wanted to live in a bigger city like Regina or Saskatoon. Her mom pointed out that those were old posts, not recent to her disappearance, so they were no longer relevant. Her mom also originally thought that Mekayla had ran away, but when she realized that she had left her acne medication at home along with an emergency stash of money, her thoughts changed very quickly.
It's always hard to believe that someone, will leave cash behind on purpose.
It's true. Like, cash is king. If you're wanting to leave and not be traced, you need cash to do that. It just makes sense. Electronic money can be tracked. Another theory that's flown around is human trafficking. In 2019, a government report was released showing problems with human trafficking in Saskatoon. It said oil and gas developments with a largely male transient workforce was a major reason for it, saying there were hubs in Winnipeg, Edmonton, Calgary, and Regina. And guess what city is in the middle of all of those? Yorkton. This theory is something that Paula has said several times, that she's afraid of this being what actually happened to Mekayla.
She said she spent a lot of time talking to people online, though.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's a hot spot for predators looking for victims, which ties into that theory as well, because an online predator is not something to rule out. She was not only talking to people online, she was using several different aliases while she was doing it. The main concern was that her use of the Kik app when doing stuff like that was a big problem. This is one of the least safe apps for teens if you Googled it. From what I've read, there's no age verification. You don't need an invitation to message someone. And the anonymousness of it all is very attractive to some unsavory people. While it's not marketed, of course, to be a criminal app, it is widely taken advantage of because it allows all those things. And it was a big thing back during this time. I don't use this app either, so I can't personally say if it's any different now. But back then, Google searches talk a lot of shit on apps like this. So parents, if you're not aware, get aware. Also, she told the friends that she had that $5,000, which, like I said, she had nowhere near that. But she was really trying to contact the bank and get a ride to the bank. So it made me wonder if she was maybe promised some money for something. Like she was expecting money to come in. And this is pure speculation, but like if she told somebody she wanted to leave, one of her online anonymous people, and she wanted to go live somewhere else, that person would be like, I can give you some money to help facilitate in return for other things. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
I mean, you know, people saying do whatever it takes to get away, you know, to get what they want.
That's very true. Very true. Now, I think I will close this one out with the reward. The family did fundraisers to raise $25,000 for information leading to her safe return. On December 11th of 2018, an anonymous donor chipped in another $25,000 to make that a total of $50,000.
Nice.
Right? But on January 8th of 2020, that donor asked for their money back. So it went back down to $25,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, who knows why they did that? I can't think of why they would. You make a donation, it's done. You don't donate a kidney and then come back and ask for your kidney back. It's just donations are donations.
I wonder if there was like allegations or something.
I don't know.
That was going against this.
Maybe. Because it was an anonymous donor. So if somebody said something, they could have just been like, I'll take that back.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I wonder if there's like allegations that were pointing in a different direction and it was like they didn't want to be a part of, you know.
Oh, I got you.
See what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah, that's an option. But the family kept fundraising. And by the 5th anniversary of her disappearance, they were able to get it back up to $40,000. Then on the 6th anniversary, another anonymous donor added $60,000. So it actually took the total up to an even $100,000. And I would like to think in my mind, in my perfect world, that might have been the same donor. Like that they had like a life or death emergency, so they had to have the money back the first time, but then they were like, I'm going to double it this time to make up for it.
Yeah, sure.
Keep wishing.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, donations do make a difference, and tips also make a difference. So if you have any information on this case, please call the York Municipal RCMP at 844-880-6518 or Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS. You can also text TIP 206 to 274-637. That's all we have for this case. Do you have any final thoughts?
Not really.
You don't know what happened?
No.
It's like out there, right?
Yeah, it is a little bit. I mean, because you don't, you know, them disappearance ones where they're just like,
yeah,
vanished. I mean, we had another one. I forget who it was, but it was the same way. He was like on his way home, and his parents never went and got him.
Oh yeah.
And he was supposed to, and he, you know, and that mechanic kept going and checking on him,
right?
And then he just,
I believe that was Bryson. Yeah,
just disappeared.
Yep. Just gone.
Yeah, just gone.
They found his car, but not him.
And then you got the one that disappeared from the Tuna Saloon?
The wild tuna, or ugly tuna
The
saloon.
ugly Tuna Saloon.
Brian Schaefer case.
And he just disappeared.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Still hasn't been found.
Still ain't been found. They just vanished.
Yep. In a bar. How do you do that?
Yeah.
Okay. If you like our content, please like, share, and subscribe. All the fun things that take you just a second, but greatly help us out.
And as always, don't forget to tell your friends. So until next time, we'll see you.
Bye.